We're going to be talking about managing customer service teams and technology as part of executing an exceptional customer experience. If you're looking to improve your customer experience, start by creating a customer service philosophy for your support team. Having a shared philosophy keeps everyone focused on the same goal and helps them understand the holistic approach to achieving that goal. I love this quote because it allows us to really think about if we're managing a team, we need to make sure that we are unifying everyone together. And that unification needs to start with the number one point here, which is a customer service vision. The customer service vision statement defines a statement that clearly defines the type of customer service employees are expected to provide. Extremely important. The second is customer service values. And this, remember, customer service values impact the experience the customer receives, and they have to help to define the personality and attitude the business is trying to put forward. This makes sense. If a organization says we have a playful, fun way in which we design products and execute those to our customers, that's something we want to focus on. Often, companies offer training to employees on how to uphold these values. So, for example, the staff at Apple retail stores are all screened and trained with a great deal of scrutiny before they take it out onto the sales force, right? Before they interact with their customers. And that makes a lot of sense because when you go into an Apple store, everyone seems to be working together and they really do know what that looks like. Something that's interesting is Apple's Genius Training Student Workbook reveals a great deal about the extent to which the company goes to sufficiently train and produce a level of quality service that anyone who visited an Apple store can come to expect, right? In fact, everything you're expected to know and understand from the moment you arrive until the time you leave has been really tediously thought through. And I think a lot of it has been scripted as well. And I think that's a really important differentiation. I think often people think that we should be spontaneous, off the cuff, but sometimes the best answers and the best way to handle customer questions is really understanding and using a script to help you guide you through that. So here is the Apple approach. Again, an acronym. And this is coming up with something really easy to remember and can allow you as, the customer service rep or, part of that team to really think about how to deal with customer service values from the top to the bottom of the company. If your team fumbles on what are our core values again, then it becomes impossible for them to tie this philosophy into their daily work. So they need to understand, their values, what the customer service vision is, or the philosophy, and their approach. So here is Apple. Apple stands for A, approach customers with a personalized, warm welcome. P, probe politely to understand their needs. P, present a solution for the customer to take home today. L, listen for and resolve any issues or concerns. And E, end with a fond farewell and an invitation to return. So, again, this is a way that you can implement some structure so that your team understands how to approach a customer and sort of, again, how is that rooted into the philosophy. So, you do need to know what the customer service philosophy is. Like, what is it as a large group of people? How are we moving forward? And a good philosophy to succeed, it needs to align with the team's values, the goals, right, of the organization, the long-term relationship or vision for your relationship with your customers, right? So these are some things that if you're the one coming up with a service philosophy that you should be asking yourself. What role does the customer service play? What experience should the customer have for your company to fulfill this role? What does this look like for your customer service team? If it matters to you, then it matters to us. This is Virgin's, kind of customer experience as it relates to their philosophy. And the founder of Virgin, Richard Branson, states that the customer experience should champion two things: fun and value for money. These are two very simple answers to a relatively broad span of human desire. But in knowing this, staff can appreciate every customer interaction with a simple consideration. How do I make this fun and how do I ensure value? On their company about us page version, you know what they add, if it matters to you, the customer, then it matters to us, the company. This is a great customer service philosophy, right? Because it should seek to really seek out this idea and the importance of challenging the status quo, right? How are we disrupting this? How are we doing and progressive, and how are we being honest? I love this overview, right? How can I make this fun, and how do I ensure the value? So once we have the philosophy, how do we develop service standards? And the truth is we do need to put in some points of what are we going to measure and how do we know if we're delivering great service to our customers? Service standards are guidelines for employees to follow when interacting with customers. Standards may be as simple as make the customer feel welcome, right? Like, how do you greet somebody? How do you make it warm? It could be as simple as efficiently serving your customers' needs. You actively are listening to them. You ask really great probing questions. You offer solutions. You take action. The third thing is looking for additional ways to serve your customers. Ask if there's anything else you can do. Share promotions or new opportunities. End the customer interaction. Thank you. Thank the customer. Follow up if needed. Summarize when it's done. You don't need these service standards to be rigid, right? But you do want to give some structure so employees can apply it to each and every customer situation. You want to provide your team with really clear documentation regarding how to handle common customer service complaints, what language to use and what to maybe avoid, how to document issues, guidelines, the importance of processing, and the procedures you can put into place. The easier it will be for your team to understand how to act in a given situation. Right. So think about this. I'm going to go back to Starbucks because they offer great customer experience and customer service, as well as a very familiar products designed at a high level. So Starbucks strongly believes in meeting customer service standards. So, for example, employees are taught to put effort into the visual look of each drink. So when you order a caramel macchiato at Starbucks, it has a precise pattern of the caramel sauce that you are supposed to, if you're the employee, to execute on. It has a lattice of 7 vertical and horizontal lines with 2 full circles around it. Okay. They also pay attention to every detail in the store, from the lighting to the furniture. They're always on point. But that kind of level is really important because there's continuity in that, and our customers look for that. So, in addition to standards, you want to also be setting some really important service goals for your team, right? Setting customer service goals can serve an important role in managing service teams. Think about it. If you have a goal to make everyone smile by the time you interact with them, that's something that everyone's trying to work towards, right? You want to make sure that you are rewarding the things that you want to see in your team and in your store. Customer service should make extra effort to ensure customer happiness and satisfaction. Customer interactions need to be pleasant experiences, customer problems need to be solved quickly, and customers need to be totally confident in the services that you provide. So let's talk about what are some great customer service goals. So let's go through an example. And you can see in the diagram here, there's a variety of goals that you might be reaching for as an organization. But for example, a manager may set a goal for the service team to increase customer satisfaction. But this goal does not inform the team of how to obtain this goal or the specific amount of increase the manager is expecting. We might do better by saying, like, let's increase customer satisfaction by 10% over the next month. The manager and staff know how much customer satisfaction is going to be measured, and that a 10% increase seems very realistic as a realistic expectation. The manager would then provide strategies on how this might be done. As well, incentives might be set out for the service team to encourage their best performance. So that's extremely important. We want to make sure the goals are, not too broad and that they align with specific company objectives. The customer support manager goals will be positioned more towards operational objectives. Make sure everything is running smoothly and efficiently. Customer support representatives will have more direct customer centric goals, like reducing maybe response times or improving resolution rates. All of these goals are really important, but need to be very detailed. The next thing I want to talk about is training your team. To first, we need to set up the structure, we need to understand the expectations, and the second is we need to hire the right people and we need to train them. So, here are the four things that you need to be thinking about. You need to hire the right people, you need to bring them onboarding and orientation to the company and the role, you need to provide specific customer service training and how to deal with angry customers, and you want to learn how to provide service recovery and what that looks like for the company. Offering workplace training can provide staff with necessary skills, right? We want to make sure that they have all the skills they need, including, soft skills like communication skills, patience, empathy, right? Adaptability. Does not matter what industry or the way that your business operates. If you're dealing with strong customer service skills are essential in ensuring customers remain loyal and also that they are coming back and being customers again. So we want to make sure our retention rates are high. What is service recovery? We kind of talked a little bit about this last week, but a great example and one that everyone I'm sure can understand is Disney. The organization is really known for its exceptional customer experience. And they actually have an education, like a university, but they call it the Disney Institute. And they do all the training of their Disney employees. So much so that they offer an on demand online training to other companies who also wish to provide that level of customer service training to their own employees. So, their Disney website states it is an on demand course. Our team will highlight how excellent service is the result of truly understanding your customers' expectations and how to put the right service standards in place so that you exceed them, right? So, what do? They really understand and assess and improve the commitment to quality service. They try to teach you, and they also do this in their own organization. They differentiate the level of service that you deliver. So it's like a wow factor, right? They really understand their customers, gauge their needs and their wants, and understand the emotions that the customers might be having, and also understand any processes necessary to develop a workplace culture. All of these are extremely important. And of course, not only do you need to train, but you also need to train if let's say you're trained to deliver great customer experience and you're following all these points and you still have an angry customer. Maybe it's something that you don't feel like you can get a handle on, but you do need to deal with angry customers. And it's so tempting to provide a customer with an easy short term solution, but it's important to solve the customer's long term needs, not only for your own convenience, but also for the organizations, because customers will recognize the difference and they will remain loyal to a business if they truly believe you are listening and that they feel heard and seen. So, how do we deal with difficult customers? If you want to watch a really interesting video, click on the link in the PowerPoint slides. But I'll give you a couple key points that I want you to consider. First of all, I want you to stay calm under pressure, right? That is number one. It does not help if you have an angry customer for you to yell and scream back to your customer. That also means that this may mean following up the customer after you have done some research. So we want to be really good at communicating. We need to be able to do that, and we need to let them know what we're doing at every single point, right? How are we transferring the customer to a manager? What are we doing and why are we doing? We want to be explaining everything. So you want to remain calm, work diligently, reassure the customer that you're working in their best interest and trying to solve their customer problems in a unique way. Okay, so there are some tips here, but one of the things I did want to mention as well is to identify obstacles to outstanding service. I think it's so easy for us to just think, well, I'm doing great service because I'm following this protocol. But one thing I do want to mention, and that's really good for you to think about, is that you are also making sure you're being proactive in the way that you communicate with them. So think about this. What are the roadblocks that might be getting in your way? Is it a lack of communication? Right? Is it ineffective employee incentives? Remember, if you're supposed to be a customer centric organization, but you only give your your employees, incentives when they hit certain revenue, you're going to be reinforcing the wrong behavior. You want to make sure that you have policies in place and structures so that it really supports your team to offer great customer service. Inefficiency, employee incentives, I just kind of mentioned that, but that is something that's really important to make sure that it's aligned to your bigger goals and your values and vision for your customer service team and your organization. Not having proper feedback loops is also really important. We want to make sure that you have a proper feedback loop and that your employees are ensuring that they can tell you what's happening with the customers and that there is going to be a way to solve that. All right, connecting with the customer. This is really important. We need to think about how are we connecting with our customers? We know there are a number of different channels to connect with customers. One is a traditional call center. This is tending to be focused on voice calls, whereas a more modern call center allows customers to contact a company not only by calls, but also by a variety of different channels like chatbots and everything else. But there's still a hub that is all focus. A contact center is really that main point for your customer so that all the contacts are being managed. So some of the duties you might be thinking about are what are the responsibilities of the agents? How are they handling the calls? What issues do they resolve? How does it escalate to a manager? What are the expectations? These are all extremely important. The more helpful customer retention strategy is, the more detailed you are, it's really important to make sure you're interacting with all these points because you want to be able to answer them quickly and promptly.